Good evening. Welcome to GeekyKOOL presents Geeky Cinephiles. I've got my buddy Joe over here with us.
Hello.
And I am Larry, the professor, and we are going to talk a little movies. We're going to do something different than what we've done before. We've reviewed different movies, but we've got a top 10 or a top 5 list from each of us, each different movies from the 2000 to 2009 range, the 2000s. So we'll share with you what we think are our favorite comedies from that time frame.
Yes. Do you think
So,
either of us will have the same one on our list?
we don't.
No? Okay.
Which was interesting. I didn't even adjust anything. I was going to, because I had some other ones in case, and
Yeah.
some of the ones that you listed were in my others, but they weren't my top 5. So
Yeah, honorable
which is
mentions.
fascinating. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So I had things listed just in case our lists overlap there. We could talk about
Nice.
something. So, but
All right.
since this was your idea to do this, Joe, which is a grand idea. This is wonderful. I love this. We're going to kick off with you, and so have you go ahead and give us your number 5 on your list here.
Oh, I didn't do 5 through 1. Okay.
Yeah, you can do, or you can do whatever you want. I just figured that would be a fun way to do it if we can. I'm throwing it at you, so
I totally agree. I guess number 5 would be Hangover.
Yeah. So tell us a little about Hangover. I know about Hangover, but tell people that are watching that may not have seen Hangover, just give us synopsis, who's in it, and if you got a great movie quote from it, give us that.
Okay. Yeah, it's a filthy movie. It's definitely dirty comedy. It was kind of Zach Galifianakis and Bradley Cooper's their breakthrough roles, kind of. They
right.
really got noticed. Heather Graham also. Let's see. Yeah, it's about 3 guys, or it's about a group of bachelor party guys that go to Vegas to have a bachelor party, but they wake up, they don't remember anything that happened, so they have to track back what they
right.
So, yeah, I saw this in the theater twice.
Saw it twice. There you go. Yeah.
This movie was huge as far as sales go.
It was a very big movie.
Yeah, blew everything out of the water. And let's see, a quote. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Except
right.
That shit's forever. I feel kind of naughty saying that.
Yeah.
It was directed by Todd Phillips, who actually, I didn't realize this, has another 2 more movies on my list.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
For this list. 2 more of the movies that are on this list. There you go. That's interesting.
Yeah.
So apparently you like his directing very well.
I guess so. Yeah.
There you go. That's awesome. All right. Yeah. That's a good one. I saw that on the list and like, okay, well that one's covered. Knew that one was probably going to need to be mentioned with reviewing the 2000s comedies there. I'll go number 5 on my list. Back in 1980s, we had Bill and Ted. In the 90s, we had Wayne's World.
Mm-hmm.
In the 2000s, we had Dude, Where's My Car? Starring Ashton Kutcher and Sean Williams. It's a movie about it's a slapstick kind of comedy with 2 buddies that are stoners that after partying all night can't find where their car is, and they go on this misadventure which ends up with aliens and it almost has a little hint of oh my gosh, what am I thinking? Anyway, but it's crazy. But it has that feel of it was the 2000s version of Bill and Ted and Wayne's World. So
yeah,
the big quote from the movie, it goes on forever. It's they both wake up and they end up with their shirts off, and they're like, "Dude, you got a tattoo?" And the other was like, "So did you, dude? Dude, what's my tattoo say?" "Sweet. What about mine?" "Dude, what's mine say?" "Sweet. What's mine say?" "Dude."
I'm asking you what mine says. Yeah.
I'm asking you what mine said. Right. And one of them actually said "sweet," and one of them actually said "dude" on it, which was just great. I mean, it.
Oh God.
Yeah, angrily, "Dude, what's mine say?" "Sweet." Yeah, it's a crazy movie, but it makes me laugh. And my love for Bill and Ted and my love for Wayne's World made this movie possible. And I believe it's Ashton Kutcher's first movie role, if I'm remembering correctly.
Okay.
Because he was big in that 70s show.
Yeah.
And I think this was his first starring role, which basically was just taking his character of Kelso and put him in the 2000s. And you know, that kind of, it fit. So,
yeah.
But it also starred Christy Swanson and Jennifer Garner.
Oh yeah! Wow, I forgot about them.
Yeah, they were in this movie. So a couple of big female actors, especially Jennifer Gardner, a really big name in this movie, both with Ashton Kutcher and Sean William Scott. So yeah. Well, what do you got? Go ahead.
Seth Rogen and Jake Gyllenhaal auditioned for that movie.
I did not know that, but that makes sense.
That's crazy. Okay, number 4 is going to have to be Old School. Another Todd Phillips.
It is, yeah. Yep.
3 older gentlemen are at a crossroads in their life, and they decide to start a fraternity. I mean, you can imagine what happens after that. Again, it's dirty humor.
Right.
Dirty humor. I think one thing I noticed about a lot of these 2000s movies is the humor may not be accepted today.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's very true.
Risque and probably a little bit politically incorrect.
You know, R-rated movies, though. I think all these are R-rated movies, and so you know, typically that's acceptable in those sort of things. But you're right. The society as a whole, especially cancellation culture, may want to cancel this sort of stuff. But it's interesting just what 25 years will change with some of that, right?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's good. I get a quote from that one for us.
"You're my boy, Blue."
You're my boy, Blue. There you go. There you go. Yeah, it kind of reminded me a little bit of Back to School with Rodney Dangerfield from the 80s.
Yeah, me too.
Except for you had 3 of them, right? Because that was the whole gist of that movie was Rodney Dangerfield goes back to school and then basically creates a fraternity, even though it's not. But yeah. So yeah, that's a good one. That's a really good one.
They didn't. The studio didn't think Vince Vaughn could do funny, so they didn't want him in the movie.
Which is hysterical.
I know,
because I have a Vince Vaughn movie on my list a little later. So
okay,
yeah. Which is hysterical because Vince Vaughn is really funny. So
yeah.
All right. So for my 4th one, we're gonna go a little mixture of horror zombie with humor. And go with Shaun of the Dead, the British comedy about a zombie apocalypse and what a couple of guys of mates would do in case of a zombie apocalypse. And the big thing is going to go to the pub, right? Going to go to the pub and hang out, starring Simon Pegg, who I love. I love Simon Pegg, and Nick Frost. Has to, you know, at one point they go to try to rescue Simon Pegg's parents, and mom ends up dying, and all this other stuff. And then he's got the cricket paddle that he's carrying around, which is a great weapon in a zombie apocalypse.
Yeah.
But it's very funny. So it's a funny look on a very popular zombie trope there. So
I think his parents at one point when he went over to save them, or there was somebody else that was like, "Oh, this will pass."
Right, exactly.
Zombies outside.
Yeah, and pretty much everybody's like, "Oh yeah, it'll pass, whatever."
Yeah,
Yeah.
great movie. That's a good choice.
So my favorite line is, "David, kill the Queen." And not talking about killing the Queen of England, but talking about stopping the jukebox that was playing "Don't Stop Me Now" by Queen while they're doing a fight sequence, which is a great fight sequence song.
That's a good
probably
one.
a great little fight sequence there. But David, kill the Queen. Yeah.
That's awesome. I forgot about that.
Yeah. So yep. So that's Shaun of the Dead, which is that's my number 4. What do you got for number 3 for us?
Number 3 is 2000. No. Borat, make benefit for cultural ship of American. What exactly is this called? What's the full title? It is. Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah, it's Borat. So yeah.
Yeah, it's Borat. It's Borat.
Oh, you know what? I apologize. We were supposed to be putting up pictures of all of these. So let me throw up some here real quick because I apologize. I was falling down on my job here. So here's The Hangover. Come on.
Go.
Maybe. Come on, put it up here. Yeah, well, okay. The setup here is a little different than it was. Nope. I love it when they do that here.
Yeah.
Image. Come on. Ow. Because I've got it pulled up over here. I'm just trying to get it to show for us.
Well, I'll continue.
And yeah, you continue. You go ahead and I'll throw up some pictures. How about that?
I don't know if there's a more quotable comedy than Borat. I mean, we just quoted it nonstop, and everybody I knew quoted. There were older people that didn't ever go to movies that went to see it because it was so funny.
Right.
It was about a Kazakhstan, which was near Russia, a journalist who was coming to America to learn how to do things the American way. And it's a lot of it's very satirical. A lot of it's poking fun at Americans. And
right. Yep. Certainly is.
But it's a riot. I mean,
it had a lot of feel of if you took what's his name, the comedian that I love America.
Yakov Smirnoff.
Yakov Smirnoff.
Yeah,
you amped him up on speed. That's kind of Borat, right? What line do you got from that? Do you have one that you want to that you can share? Because some of those were not appropriate lines, but
this is my sister. She is number 2 prostitute in all of Kazakhstan.
That's right. That's a good one. So here's The Hangover for people. I don't know how I got it to finally kick in after clicking on everything. There's The Hangover, picture of The Hangover with the baby strapped in.
Yep.
Yeah, and there's old school for you right there.
Take the take.
We've got Shaun of the Dead here.
It's a great movie.
And Dude, Where's My Car? With the dude in the suite right there for us. Yeah. All right. Anything else? I just want to know, do you have a Borat little swimsuit? The little yellow.
No, I've thought about it.
You're not wearing the Borat swimsuit because
I tried.
Okay, all right. I would not try that. I would definitely not do that. But okay.
So, okay, just a few facts. The police were called 92 times during that. They had a lawyer on retainer.
I can see that, right? That makes sense to me.
There were only 4 actors in the entire movie.
Really?
Yeah. And then the rodeo scene, I guess that was filming it was a nightmare. And the director of Old School and Hangover quit after that rodeo scene.
Really?
So someone else directed the rest of it. Yeah. which I thought was interesting.
That is interesting.
Yeah.
It's always interesting when you get that director quit in the middle of it. Yeah.
I bet Sacha Baron Cohen would be hard to work with. I mean, I'm sure he's pushing the limits all the time.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm totally sure that's true. Yeah.
Okay. What do you got for number 3?
All right. I've got number 3. I've got a movie. And again, I'm going on this theme of things that felt like 80s movies that were had a 80s like movie that was a comedy, like they almost stole something in the 2000s. But
yeah,
this one's borrowing from a movie that was not a comedy, but one that was a little more serious, called Heathers back in the day. But this is Mean Girls.
Oh, you went Mean Girls?
I went Mean Girls. Mean Girls is a fun movie. It's also, I saw a lot of this working in education. And I remember this from actually being in high school, where you have the popular group, and if they take somebody in, and I've also saw where the new girl moves into town, you friend the new girl, and then the populars come in and get them. Of course, in this movie, they're called the Queens. It was actually based on a book called Queen Bees and something, but it was based on a book, but about queen bees, which is the term for the little princesses that try to run schools. And that does happen completely. Yeah. If I would have realized, you figure out who that is and you don't mess with them because they can get you fired. So now I know them. In the movie, new girl Katie Heron is brought into the popular clique called the Plastics. And then they decide they're going to turn on her after she dates the wrong guy. But starring Lindsay Lohan in a great role by Lindsay Lohan. Lindsay Lohan has done some crazy stuff, and that post-adolescent stuff. I mean, she had that time where she kind of melted down, kind of like Britney Spears.
Yeah.
But this is a great movie from Lindsay Lohan. Very well acted, and just one of those classic movies.
I agree.
Also stars Jonathan Bennett, and Rachel McAdams is in this movie.
Yeah, wasn't it one of Rachel McAdams' earlier films?
It was, yes, like very much so.
Notebook?
Yeah. Yes, right, exactly. And of course, the quote that everybody knows, on Wednesdays, we wear pink.
Yeah.
Because you have to micromanage everything to the point of what color you're going to wear to school.
Yeah.
But yeah, this one is not as slapstick and funny to me as Dude, Where's My Car or Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah.
But it's a funny movie. And like I said, it has the feel of Heathers, but not quite as intense as Heathers, but more funny. So, yeah.
Did you see the new one?
The new Heathers?
No, the new Mean Girls.
Oh, no, I have not. I've heard. Isn't there like a series or something?
No, it's an actual movie.
Is it a new movie? Okay. I've not seen it, but I probably will because.
But the movie, the movie, they created a play after the movie, and now they're bringing a play to the movie.
Okay. I knew that they'd made a Broadway play off of it, which is always funny to me.
Yeah.
So.
If you like musicals, do it, but I couldn't do it. It was awful.
I like some musicals. It depends on the musicals.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. All right. So that was my number 3. What do you got for number 2 there, Joe?
Number 2 is Scary Movie.
Scary. Did I have that on the list?
I
don't think I had that one.
Okay.
But I can pull that one up here.
What was the other one that I gave you?
Well, I have 2 others that you gave me.
Okay. Give me a second here. Oh, yeah. Okay. It wasn't Scary Movie. It was Anchorman.
Okay. Yep. Anchorman I do have there. Scary Movie is an interesting movie because it really spoofs Scream, which is kind of a spoof movie of its own off of the horror genre, but then Scary Movie really spoofs it. But Anchorman is one of those that was right there on my, the cusp of making my list. So yeah, Anchorman's a great one there.
I think most everyone has seen it, so I don't need to explain it. But yeah, it stars Will Ferrell, Paul Rudd, David Koechner, Steve Carell. And Steve Carell as the supporting actor. He's not
right. Yeah, exactly.
and Christina Applegate.
Christina Applegate, yes.
Yeah. Probably also another one of those real quotable movies.
It certainly is. It certainly is one of those quotable movies. I agree.
Yeah.
And I love how he just reads from the screen. He reads whatever it says on the teleprompter.
We're live? I don't believe you.
It's a great movie. So that's a great choice. Yeah. That's a great choice.
Okay, how about you?
Well, we're going to stick with the Will Ferrell then. We're going to go. My number 2 is also with Will, and that's Talladega Nights.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that one.
Yeah. Very quotable movie. Extremely quotable. The funny thing to me is this is a NASCAR movie. It's a movie making fun of NASCAR. Mm-hmm. But all of the NASCAR drivers loved it. They actually their appearances in the movie, a lot of them read the script beforehand and loved it. Thought it was hysterical.
Really?
Like, it's pretty accurate at a level, right?
Yeah.
So, which is really humorous because you're like, are you serious? Because
that's a great choice. Forgot about that one.
Starring Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly, almost went with a different one, or almost added a different one of theirs, also being Step Brothers. That was in the running.
Yes.
Those two together are really funny. They have great comedy, great they're great comedy timing together. So
their chemistry's good.
The little kids in the movie. I'm going to come at you like a spider monkey. I'm all hyped up on Mountain Dew.
I love it. And their names are Walker, Texas Ranger, and...
No, it's Walker.
Oh, yeah.
TR, which stands for Texas Ranger. And of course, there's so many quotes in that movie I could have gone with, but I went with Dear 8 pounds, 6 ounces. Newborn infant Jesus. Don't even know a word yet.
I like to think,
he was an adult too, right? Not just a baby.
I like to think of Jesus, and he's on stage with these wings, but he's singing Leonard Skinner, and I'm drunk as hell. Oh boy!
I like to think of Jesus as a mischievous badger. I like to think of it. It's so that whole scene is just a riot, and I think a lot of that was just ad-libbed by the two of them. They just kept going. So So
that's a family-friendly one too. You can watch that with kids.
Fairly family-friendly, right? There's some cursing, especially from the little kids early on, but that does change. But overall, it's a family-friendly one. If you can drive with a cougar, you can drive.
If you ain't first, you're last.
You ain't first, you're last. You're just second place is just the first place of losers.
Yep. That's right. Ricky Bobby.
Ricky Bobby, don't stick the knife in the leg, Ricky Bobby. You're not really.
Oh my gosh. So good.
Oh, such a fun movie. I showed this to my son, I don't know, 6 months ago.
Yeah.
He's 16 now. He was 15 at the time. But we were, I think it was when he was on break from school, because I'm actually, okay, you're not behind on any homework at the moment, so I'll let you watch a movie. And he just loved it. He thought it was hysterical. So
that's good. I mean, you watch a lot of movies with your son. That's cool.
Yeah, I do. I try to. I definitely haven't watched all of these, but I've watched that one with him. So yeah. The next one I've watched with him also, and we'll talk about it. But before that, let's get to yours and give your number one here.
Number one, ready? My number one comedy of 2000 to 2010 is Idiocracy.
Idiocracy.
Have you seen it?
I have.
Yeah.
It's a good one. It's a really
Yeah.
good one. Yeah.
So it's about a dystopian future, 500 years in the future, and it basically shows how dumb and we've gotten over the years. We get dumber and dumber and dumber. Instead of most people think we progress, but it goes backwards. And you could just imagine the things that are in it. I mean, he went to there. The main character's lawyer went to Costco for his law degree. And
Right.
that was a good thing. My dad pulled some strings. Yeah.
Exactly. Got to go to Costco. Right.
Yeah. I still remember when I saw it. So me and my buddy were hanging out. We were actually just looking for a movie. There was nothing on whatsoever. And we just kind of stumbled upon it and just laughed and laughed and laughed. The studio did a terrible job of pumping that movie and marketing it.
It did. It didn't. It did not get a lot of press when it came out. Yeah.
They thought it was going to offend some of the media and some of the bigger companies like Costco and Starbucks. Yeah. What's interesting about that one is, did you know that Joel and Ethan Coen have a writing credit on that?
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Makes sense, but yeah, I did not know that a writing credit. No.
Yeah. That's one of my favorites, and it's amazing how many times I've heard since that movie came out in 2006, people reference it and about what is going on now in our society.
Right.
Actually, kind of scary. Like
it kind of feels like we may be devolving, right?
Yeah. The president of the United States is a wrestler, 8-time SmackDown champion. Dwayne Alessandro Taco Bell Mountain Dew Camacho. You could sell your middle name and get money for it.
Exactly.
Oh man, yeah, that one it never stops. And every time I find something new that's funny about it, and it's funny because it's relevant too.
That's true. It's a very funny movie. Lot of sarcastic humor to it. So
yes, yeah.
Yep. That's a good one. That's a really good one.
Okay.
All right. So my number one is I mentioned I had a Vince Vaughn movie coming up. So it's a Vince Vaughn movie. And basically, I'll give you the quote. If you're going to be true dodgeballers, you got to learn the 5 Ds of dodgeball. Yep. Dodge, duck, dip, dive, and dodge. Dodge is that important.
Great movie.
The Average Joes.
Yep.
A gym of basically rejects. To save their gym that they love, they have to go and win the National Dodgeball Championship in Vegas.
Yep.
And be on the live coverage of ESPN, the Ocho.
The Ocho.
And the Ocho part are some of my favorites. I love the coverage of the tournament. That cracks me up. But with oh my gosh, what are their names? I can't even remember what the names of the two guys. I should know.
Blade and Laser.
Well, no, those are two of the two of the opponents, but the guys covering what the real names are.
Jason Bateman and
Bateman. Thank you. Jason Bateman is one of them, and
Lumberg from Office Space.
Yes, it is. It's yeah. So those two guys crack me up with that. But this whole movie, I just laugh at the whole thing. I just when and of course it also stars Ben Stiller and Kristen Taylor, who was Marcia in the Brady Bunch movies from the 90s, the spoofs. Marcia. But my Ben Stiller, probably my favorite line, even though I went with the Patches of Houlihan line. My favorite line from the movie is after she slaps him for trying to get him to trying to force a date with her and all this other stuff. And he's like, I'm bleeding. Nobody makes me bleed my own blood. It just cracks me up. I'm like, Okay, it's not just a funny line by itself, but,
Yeah.
but that no one makes me bleed my own blood. And Ben
Isn't his name
Stiller's
White?
yes, it's
Yeah,
White. Yes, it
it's a
is.
funny
Yeah,
name.
yes, it is.
Yeah, Ben Stiller's man, he's got so many of those comedies. But yeah,
He does. He's usually the main star or one of the main stars. Meet the Parents was on my list of things
oh
that I did not
yeah,
pick, which is one of those that cracks me up with Ben Stiller.
yeah,
So but yeah, but yeah, it's funny. I love that he plays the bad guy. I
yeah,
really do. And Vince
yeah.
Vaughn is just great in that movie.
Oh yeah.
That whole cast is tons of fun.
Okay,
Um,
how much time do we have?
how much time do we have? Time. Man. So I changed my thing. Oh, we're at 30 minutes now, so we can wrap it up here quick. But if you got something you want to share, go ahead.
What I was going to say is IMDb ranks the top 50 of those comedies,
Yep.
and Meet the Parents is Dodgeball's number 3, Meet the
Uh-huh.
Parents is number 2,
Yep.
and 40-Year-Old Virgin's number 1.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
I think I went and looked at that list, but yeah. 40-year-old version's funny, but it doesn't. If I was doing a top 10 list, it might make it there, but
I agree.
But yeah, I don't know. But dodgeball, I just love dodgeball. I wanted to start playing dodgeball again after the movie.
I know, right? I
It
know.
made me want to play. I'm like, hey, let's get a league. I actually went and said we should get a league at work, and nobody wanted to get a league with me.
Dang it.
I know it could have been fun having a dodgeball league.
Losers. Yeah.
Yeah, we probably would have ended up like the average Joes against the Girl Scout troop in early on. Probably just would have been done and out and be like, okay, we're a bunch of losers, aren't we? Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love that part where the Girl Scouts beat them, but then they have to forfeit because the one girl's using enhancements. So
yeah, steroids.
she's using steroids. Girl Scouts.
Ridiculous.
Too funny.
Oh yeah.
And then when they get there and they don't have any uniforms and they get the wrong uniforms in the mail,
Yeah.
and it's the S&M club that with the leather and the chains and the
oh,
they played the first match in that. Just too funny.
God.
Just
What
such
other
a funny movie.
What other honorable mentions did you have?
My list is over here. Let me look over here real quick.
And someone is texting. Keith is sending me messages.
Oh, yeah. Keith's a good friend of ours. So,
good.
Hey, Keith. Sorry, I missed the messages. I just didn't have that popped up here.
Yeah, I was going to try to respond, but I don't know.
Hey, Keith. Glad to see you. Keith is one of our friends. He has him and our buddy Gary have a show called Pop Culture Minefield. That's a geek show also. They are great. Let's see what Keith gives us his top. Let me show you this. His top, if I can see it there. Euro Trip, which was on the list. Bad Moms. School of Rock was really high on the list. Almost made it there.
Yeah.
Evolution. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. That's a good one. I know it's a comedy, but I love the book so much that I take it as like, okay, well, they're adapting from the book. So I looked at that as a possibility, Keith. And Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back, which is a funny one also.
Yeah,
that's
a good one.
It's a good list, Keith. I like your list, buddy.
Yes, great
list. That's a great list. So School of Rock was definitely one of those that was right there about to do it. So
yep.
Also had Miss Congeniality, which is a pretty funny comedy. That one that my wife and I both enjoyed together. Legally Blonde was one of those.
That's a good one.
Meet the Parents, and of course we talked a little bit about that. It was also my list of honorable mentions that just throw out there that I was trying. I made a whole list of movies And I'm like, okay, here's a cut, and here's. So then I'm having to try to rank them in top 5, and I'm like,
Yeah.
It can be a challenge. So
yeah.
But yeah. Well,
So
anything? Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say one last thing. Meet the Parents is Robert De Niro's his highest grossing movie ever.
That is
it's
so weird, right?
Yeah, I know, yeah.
That
Crazy.
is so weird. He is so funny in that movie.
Yeah, it's great.
But milking the cat.
Yep. If Office Space came out in '99, but if it was 2000, it would have been top 5 for sure for me.
One of mine that would have been top 5 also would have been Mystery Men that came out in '99.
What was it?
Mystery Men.
Oh yeah,
it's a Ben Stiller movie, and it was before its time. It was a group of substitute heroes having to save the day, and I love that movie. I just think I laugh. Being a superhero comic book guy, I just think it's so fun.
It was,
and
good.
Most people. I remember going to the theater, and there were 2 of us in the theater, and I was like, well, that sucks because this is a fun movie. So
yeah,
but yeah. All right. Well, anything else to add, Joe?
Shout out to Napoleon Dynamite and Diane if you're listening.
Yep. Those were ones that I considered. Yep.
But that's it. That's what I got.
Part 2, honorable mention: Bill and Ted's Face Music. That's actually from the 2000. Actually, that's 2020, I believe. Ooh. Keith, because it came out during the midst of COVID, and I went and saw it with a buddy in the theater, but we had to mask up, and he and I sat next to each other, but then we had to put like 3 seats in between us and some other people. And the theater, it opened up special because it came out. But yeah, we were just doing like 2000 to 2009 for that time frame. So
thank you, Keith.
As fearless leader in Rocky and Bullwinkle. I never saw that movie. Wanted to see that, and I should go back and watch Rocky and Bullwinkle.
Yeah,
a live action version of it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. All right. Well, that'll be all for our time then. Joe, thank you so much. We'll have something new for next week and come at you on Tuesday night next week at 6:30 Central Time. Join us live or check out the stream afterwards. You guys stay geeky out there. Watch some movies. And we will see you next time.